Greetings everyone, this is SteamTeamRedubUK, CC Trainor-Ling, and I'm back to bring you another episode review from Season 7 of The Loud House. So let's get right into it. Today's episode is Master of Delusion. In this episode, Lincoln is chosen to be a junior illusionist for the Amazing Brailster at the Illusion Chateau, but he finds the experience to be anything but enjoyable. For this being Lincoln's first spotlight episode of Season 7, I'll just say it was nowhere near the level of excitement as Present Danger, which was both the Season 6 premiere and Lincoln's first big leading role of the same season. To tell the truth, Master of Delusion was kinda boring and pretty uneventful. While I appreciate the idea of Lincoln getting an episode that focused on the up-and-coming magician side of his character, something that was first touched upon in Season 3's Antiqued Off and later developed more during Season 5, he barely does any of his own magic tricks minus the one Brailster put him through during the final scene. Some of the magic performed in this episode may have been a little cartoony, but it's grown on me, so I don't have anything to complain about there. Anyway, a good chunk of the story just features Lincoln doing a lot of cleaning and other household chores at the Illusion Chateau. He came off as more of an intern slash housekeeper instead of an assistant ready to learn magic from the Amazing Brailster. Speaking of whom, this magician finally makes a comeback following his debut in Season 3's Antiqued Off, and we got to learn a little bit more about who he is. He owns a chateau complete with lots of magic props from other famous magicians who went inside and got lost, more on that in just a moment, and the building also serves as his main venue for performing. He tells Lincoln that before he can learn any sort of magic, he first needs to master the basics. However, Lincoln gets the idea from his friends that he should try to impress his idol with a few tricks of his own so he can stop doing housework and start doing magic. However, he fails to master the art of getting out of a straitjacket and accidentally causes Brailster's pet mongoose to run off while his mentor is away. Then his friends come over to help him find the mongoose, and they each fall victim to the many trapdoors Brailster warned about earlier. So then Lincoln has to confess to the mistakes he made, and Brailster explains how he was once in Lincoln's position when he first started learning magic. Just like Lincoln, he wanted to learn all the flashy tricks right away, but his teacher needed him to master the basics before anything else. Otherwise, fast forward to the present, he would have never been able to rescue Lincoln's friends by pulling them out of a hat. My question is, how exactly does cleaning magic props and folding laundry correlate with pulling people or animals out of a hat? Unless I missed something after watching this episode 3 times, it's never explained how Lincoln's housekeeping was supposed to sharpen his skills at magic. When I first heard them say, master the basics, my initial thought was Brailster was going to teach Lincoln a few simple tricks and the methods behind them before working their way up to the more difficult ones. My proposed idea would have Lincoln saying he already knows how to do those simple tricks and wants to learn something more challenging. In turn, the Amazing Brailster would tell him that there's a reason why a good magician needs to start small and not get too far ahead of themselves. That would carry more weight when Lincoln's friends got caught up in those trapdoors, and he wouldn't know how to get them back because he hadn't mastered a basic technique that correlates with the act of disappearing and then reappearing. I haven't exactly worked out all the kinks to my idea, but I think it makes more sense than what we actually got. Either way, the Amazing Brailster still saw a lot of potential in Lincoln and allowed him to take a bow during his magic act, so at least he didn't come off as the kind of person who takes all the glory while the people who helped him go unnoticed. Some other things worth noting included Lincoln telling Clyde he had a code turquoise, and Clyde described the exact situation Lincoln got himself in. I'll just be honest, the whole oddly specific color code gag just doesn't hit the same way now as it once did back in the first season. There was also this visual gag of Rusty befriending the bird who delivered Brailster's letter to Lincoln. It was a little funny depending on the scene, but it was also kinda distracting at the same time. And finally, there was a magical violin that could be seen playing frantic music when Lincoln was looking for his friends, and then it was slowly creeping up behind him playing sad music. That was probably the most amusing part of the episode, which I guess is either good or bad depending on how you look at it. Overall, this episode could have been better had the story taken a different direction, like the idea I proposed earlier, but what we were actually given was just boring. Brailster's logic for Lincoln doing housework had nothing to do with magic, or at least the connection between the two is never really explained, if not explained poorly. Lincoln barely got to do any of his own tricks, and his friends were just there, you know? The lesson on learning not to get too far ahead of yourself falls flat going based on how shyly the story tried to set it up, and even the payoff at the end feels a little underwhelming despite Lincoln getting the chance to appear on stage alongside his mentor. So yeah, this is one episode I'd personally recommend skipping unless you're a fan of Lincoln and or magic. Maybe you'll get some enjoyment out of this, but it just wasn't for me. With that said, I give Master of Delusion a 5.4 out of 10. Well folks, that concludes my review of Master of Delusion. So I I gotta ask, what did you guys think of this episode? Sound off in the comments below, and be sure to click that subscribe button for more Loud House related content. That's going to do it for me. I'll catch you guys for the next video, but until then, this is SteamTeamRedubUK, CC Trainor-Ling, signing off. Peace out, home slices.